Thanks the board to invite me for this event. I prepare a short talk for 8 minutes, and hopefully I will make several points based on my 6 years participation in the Korean Peninsula peace building process with the denuclearization and the unification effort. During the 6 years, it was my honor to be invited in the activities organized by China, Mongolia, South Korea, and the United States of America. Additionally, my comments were also based on my previous work on the Belt Road project in China. My analysis of Quad and its impact to East Asia. So my research during the past 6 to 7 years, has covered these topics. The Biden administration returned to the idea of containing China with more military actions in the Pacific region. But if we check into these moves, there are several internal contradictions which make such aggressive actions hardly work in today's Pacific area. First, the first island chain has been divided into several layers. By layers, I mean the first layer could be seen as expanded into the Quad, with Japan, Australia, and India, that the alliance stretched out from Pacific Ocean to the Indian Ocean. The second layer could be seen as the Japan-Taiwan link that has been repeatedly brought up in the most recent Japan and US statement after Blinken visit of Japan. The third layer is the Korean Peninsula, where the US need to work with the South Korean, DPRK, and China in the near future. Finally, the last layer is the South China Sea. So if you divided these so-called first island chain into these four layers, you can clearly see the contradiction, internal contradiction in this policy design, which doesn't make sense. In each layer that I mentioned above, the mainland China can counter the military force from the US and its allies. But most importantly, different forces of each layer leverage each other, which makes the US further move became impossible. For example, Japan is a major figure in the Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
good.
You're back.
Good, I'm glad I'm back. For example, Japan is a major figure in the Quad, but linking Japan with the Taiwan issue equals to linking Japan, link Japan to China's internal affairs. China has made it extremely clear and firm of its Taiwan policy. The One China policy is the fundamental bottom line for its foreign affairs. If Japan followed the US line by challenging such bottom line, both countries will be in an awkward position in dealing with the Korean Peninsula issue. So for the Korean Peninsula issue, the core countries are the ROK, DPRK, the US, and China. As the region's top security issue, both ROK and the DPRK are working with China and the US. And we can see in this, in the recent ROK and the American activities, during which with the purpose of not irritating China. So both countries minimize their reference of China. I participated almost all of the activities in this region regarding the DPRK issue. Um, so it, these policies are contradicting to each other. Japan is excluded from the peninsula issue. In addition to the furious debate on the issue of comfort women during the World War II, ROK remained to be reluctant in dealing with Japan. If Japan intensified its aggressive attitude towards China, no matter as a member of the Quad or on the issue of Taiwan, Japan will be further excluded from the peninsula issue. On the contrary, China remains to be active in the region and is working with all of the neighboring countries in dealing with the peninsula issue. After signing the RCEP um, and the trade agreement with the EU, the China's Belt Road Initiative remains to be productive. Even though the Belt Road Initiative is an economic development plan, it helps the country to improve its relationship with all of its neighboring countries. In the South China Sea area, both Philippines and Vietnam are actively working with China in this mega plan. And during the COVID-19 um, pandemic, um, these countries also work with China for the vaccine and the public health issue. What made the Belt Road Initiative more effective is the fact that there are two lines in the project that connect the Eurasia continent, and both stretched on land towards the west. It's not an ocean project. It is a land project. If we understand this clearly, we can easily see that adding more military bases in the Pacific area is useless because it's stretched out on the on the continent, not through the ocean. So recently, the Korean Moon administration agreed to pay half of the military base expenses. Whether this move could add extra financial burden to the citizens of South Korea and how they are going to react still remain to be need to be observed. There are also rumors that in the future, the US government would add more military equipment in the South. And in today's news, which is March 23, when I was writing this draft, Great Britain also planned to teach South Korean technologies in developing aircraft carrier. So what does this mean to this area, and what kind of impact it will bring to this area? You need to observe. So that's my presentation. Thank you for having me.